Hi, guys. Oh my goodness, we have a treat today. We have Mr. Eric Graham. He's going to be telling you about his nonprofit. But I just really just appreciate, I just want to say, guys, I love people like Mr. Eric Graham. He wants to help babies. They're not babies, but you know what I'm talking about. He wants to help the community, and that's why we are here today. We're going to be talking about his nonprofit that he had, that he started. He started a nonprofit. He's moving to the next level. He's in talks with grant makers now, just going to the next level and really going to be changing the community, changing changing outcomes and making impact in the community. So I want to introduce Mr. Eric Grant. Hi, Eric, can you tell me about yourself and the name of your nonprofit and what you're doing?
Hi, how you doing? Yeah, like I said, my name is Eric Graham. I'm the director of Pathway to Progressions. Pathway to Progressions is a nonprofit organization, 501(c)(3). Our aim is to help youth who have aged out of the foster care system. They didn't get the necessary skills, the necessary training. They weren't taken in by families officially and pretty much have been, thrown out on their own to develop on their own. So these youth need help. They need assistance in developing themselves and becoming acclimated into the community. So that's our aim, and that's what we're doing.
Awesome. So my next question was, what inspired you to start that nonprofit? But it seems like you just said that. You just said you wanna help those that really just nobody's has help. I mean, can you go into that? Were you why? Were you in that situation? Do you know someone that was in that situation?
My ex-wife was in a situation. I have family members who were adopted, who were taken in by um, adults and other families. I was surrounded as a youth by cousins, quote unquote, and relatives who were in that situation. So I've talked one on one with them. I know how challenging it can be for children who came out of the foster care system. A lot of them have insecurities, a lot of them have vulnerabilities. They didn't get the proper training, they don't believe in themselves.
Mm,
Uh, they don't have the people behind them to support them. And a lot of times, unfortunately, what happens is these youth end up, according to statistics, and anyone can check this, they end up in prison. They
mm.
end they end up being our next generation of criminals or homeless youth on drugs or alcohol and things like that. So, like I said, our aim is to change that.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Thank you for, what I find that people that want to start nonprofits, I find that you guys have like a hearts of gold. You wear it on your sleeve.
Yeah,
And, the reason why I love helping nonprofits is that because, we would give away our services out of our own pockets and
right.
just spend all our money and then just have zero because we want to help. But that's not actually how we want to run. That's not actually how we need to run a nonprofit. We have to run a nonprofit profitably so it can sustain past you. And so, that's why I really love people like you, because I want to help people to
Mhm.
understand that it's okay to help other people, but it's also okay to get paid to do it. And it's also okay to ask people for money to help you get this done, especially grant makers. Now,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you this question. What specific problem does your non-profit serve, solve, and who do you serve? Now, I know you went through our class.
Right.
You know what I'm about to ask, because Miss Kylene was the cohort teacher, and
Right.
we're gonna do Miss Kylene very proud. What am
Mhm.
I about to ask you for?
Oh,
Good, good. Now you know it. Now you know
I do know it, but oh, Tell Colleen I'm so sorry.
Oh
Oh man.
goodness, because we were going to do your elevator pitch. Okay, well, do a
The
stab
pitch.
at it. Do a
The
stab
pitch.
at
The
it. Put
pitch.
me on camera. We
Yes,
trying to
yes,
talk
yes.
to you right now.
So Pathway to Progressions, as I said, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our aim is to solve the crisis of youth who are growing at an accelerated rate into the community, um, of being undertrained, under supported, and pretty much going into our communities without the proper training and support and families that they need to help them. We provide housing, we provide career path coaching, we provide traveling abroad. We want to expose them to something more than their local areas, that they are not just centered right here where they locally are, you know, so that hopefully these youth, when they go out into the public after our 4-year program, they will become real estate investors. That's part of our program as well, is to expose them to real estate investment, to financial literacy, and also career path coaching. And that's our aim, is to get them acclimated back into society as productive citizens. Because the opposite of that is, as we stated earlier, according to statistics, many of them end up in prison due to petty crimes, or some of them end up homeless, some of them end up on drugs and alcohol. That's the other side of it.
Mm.
So that's our aim at Pathway to Progressions, is to change that model and change that narrative.
All right. And what's your ask? Remember?
Our ask, our ask. Um, yeah, you got me there.
Okay. You when you're in the elevator with the millionaire, you want to ask for some money. Okay.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
You
That's
have to
right.
be specific. That's okay.
Kylie is gonna be like, yeah, I gotta talk to him. So
That's
I gotta talk
okay.
to him.
That's
We
okay.
need money.
You need funding.
We
This
need
is one of
funding.
the reasons that you are in there. You want funding for your nonprofit.
And
Um,
and and you know what? I didn't interrupt you, but yes, we definitely need funding. That's what we're asking for. And as for any future nonprofit organizations, it just kind of spoke to, because my attention, yes, we do need that funding, but my heart has been so focused on the structure of the program. And it's, as you go through it, yes, we need funding, we need profit to sustain us, yes. But it purifies our heart to where we're more so focused on the youth that we're helping. And yes, we will get that funding, we will get that profit, but our hearts are pure. You get what I'm saying?
I Yeah, that's why it's so important for people like you to actually learn how to structure a nonprofit so that it can get funding. A lot of times we're out there just spending our money, just getting our cash and going to the
Mhm.
store and taking our money from the job. Your nonprofit's supposed to pay you so that you don't have to have another job. You want to be able to have your heart to do what your heart desires and help the community. And so that's one of the reasons why I love helping nonprofits and helping them with their capacity building and things like that. So let's talk
Mhm.
about this. I still want to talk about how has your nonprofit made a difference in the community so far? I know you're starting up, but I know you've done stuff in the past already out of your own pocket. So what are you doing? How have you made a difference so far?
So far, what we're doing is we're involved, the people that we're dealing with, such as members on the board, 3 of them were in the foster care system themselves. So
Mm.
what we're doing now is we're connecting with other nonprofit organizations, and they're getting with youth in the community, and it's a lot of them. It is a lot of youth. You'd be surprised who have no support. We're taking them out to places like Lansing to attend like the state capitol, attend some of the meetings there. We're taking them to a lot of the food pantries, getting involved with helping the homeless.
Oh,
See,
no.
all of these are things that they will be involved in. One of the things we want to do with the youth is we also want to purify their hearts, because
Wow.
once they're here, it's not just about them. We want you to give back
Oh, wow.
to the community. We want you to be back involved. We want to recycle this. So they're going to different churches. They're getting involved with the food pantries, giving away food, things like that. So these are not children that are a part of the program. These are just children we're working with, youth we're working with right now. And we're
That's
going to, like I said, to where the how we're meeting a lot of them is going through different nonprofit organizations around here. I really sat out, and Kylene told me about that. Was one of the things you're going to need to do is you're going to need to network with other nonprofit
mm,
organizations. I wasn't aware of how many it was around here that I needed to network with, you know?
that's amazing. You're already making such a big impact.
Mhm.
While you're structuring your business, you're
Right.
now out there networking, you're making those relationships, and then you're going to be in an extremely great place when you are able to get some additional funding going into your nonprofit.
Correct.
Um,
Correct.
Tell me this, if you could, okay, what are some of the biggest challenge your organization is facing?
Well, like we said before, the biggest challenge right now is the funding. And the other aspect is just so much the administrative part, is
Mm,
structuring the administrative part, because this entails a lot. This, because this is more so, it can entail even um, guidelines according to the state, or even taxes, things that you want to stay within your confines. You want to make sure things are done properly. So, but the biggest obstacle right now we're dealing with is the funding,
mhm,
because the funding is what is going to pay for repairs, furnishing the home for the youth, helping them in their coursework and the coaching, transportation, things like that, food, So that's the biggest obstacle right now, next to the administrative part. But other than that, I feel like we're right at the threshold, because I've had some very inspirational meetings with
mm,
funders. Yeah,
mm. Oh
we're
man.
we're right there.
All right. So let me ask you this. If you could say one thing to a potential grant maker or funder, what would it be?
It would be that our program is one that is not a lot in our state. It is very much in demand. Um, and then what we have is a very, very meticulously crafted program to help the youth become acclimated into society as productive citizens. And not only that, recycling that help that we will be giving them back into the community, so they will be active into the community.
Amazing. Amazing. All right, now we're going to shift a little bit with it to your experience with QT Business Solutions. Can you tell me
Okay.
how did you first hear about QT Business Solutions and what made you decide to join our nonprofit cohort?
I became aware of QT Business Solutions some years ago. I believe it was through Facebook.
Mm.
I believe it was through Facebook. And initially, I had cold feet, like
Ah,
most people, like buying a house, or buying a car, or getting married. Everybody have those apprehensions, right? Those. So at one point in time, being a real estate investor myself, I know the name of the game in real estate is you got to move, and you got to move now.
mm,
Otherwise, that house is going to be gone. So I used that energy and said, you know what? I'm gonna go through with it. I'm gonna try it and see what happens. I'm gonna throw it in there and see if it fly. And QT took me from an idea to a reality
oh my goodness.
in a very short period of time. It wasn't like an overnight thing, because granted, this is just to, speaking of you guys, the quality of the training. It's not an overnight ordeal. It's like, we're going to do this right here. You'll have it tomorrow. They're making sure that everything is done correctly, that what you're doing is done professionally, and that speaks volumes to the quality of the assistance and support that QT gives. Because, like I said, when we spoke with Kylene, she dotted every I. and cross every T. I took so many notes. I was like, "What am I doing with all these notes?" But I
Everybody
gotta go.
says
I gotta go back over them. I gotta go back. I tell her I gotta. I'm gonna go back over them.
Yeah, yeah, you know she'll bring the switch out. She'll bring the switch out and get you in class. So now you know that's okay because we gonna sometimes when you leave the class, I know it's like a water hose. It's like you're drinking
Yeah,
from a water hose. There's so many notes, and so that's why we actually started a new community so everybody can have some touch ups because sometimes you learn a
yeah.
whole bunch, but it's way more than what you started with. So tell me, did you have your 501c3 before you got here or no? And tell us how that process went.
No, QT handled everything. I had my input and they worked with me on it, but they handled everything from A to Z, things that I had absolutely no clue about. I was not privy to this process.
Mm,
So they handled everything and got all the paperwork done. The things that I was about to make mistakes on, they corrected me on, and we got it done. And I was like, whoa, okay. Like I said, it went from an idea to a reality, and I was like, okay, all right. How you get that now. Now I got the butterflies a little bit. It went from cold feet to butterflies.
oh
Meaning it's right here now. It's actually a reality now.
no,
You
okay.
know.
That's how we get our customers. They say they I don't know, I think they don't actually believe we're telling the truth until it actually happens, and they're like, oh no, I didn't
Yeah.
know if I really wanted to do this yet. Keep going,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right. Right. And that's when, okay, we went from that point to the course work that Kylene put together, and that was amazing right there. The pointers that she went over, the consistency of making sure, and she makes sure that she drilled it in our head, like the pitch,
Hmm.
um, having that pitch ready and ready to roll. Um, Also going over web design, things that you have to do and be proactive about in the meantime to make sure that your nonprofit organization is presented in a very professional light, you know? So she covered every aspect of it. I appreciate it for that.
Awesome. And then tell us about the grant writing process. How did that go and what did you learn throughout that process?
Whoa, that was a lot. Now that I learned so much in the grant writing process. Statistics, doing your due diligence, what nonprofit organization you're doing with. Are there other nonprofit organizations in your area? What are for instance, in the dealing with the foster care system, they wanted statistics regarding youth. Are they growing? Is it not growing? Um, what area will you be serving? Are there other nonprofit organizations in your area doing the same thing? There was so many dynamics to the grant writing process that I learned that I didn't know about that QT helped me with, that I'm eternally grateful for having, because I never would have got that done.
Mm,
I never would have got that done. I didn't realize it was that, you know, meticulous. You had to meticulously put together this grant proposal and make it make sense in a pitch in a very short period of time when you pitch it out. So, they got me there at the threshold of it right here. And right now where we're at is I've gotten a lot of feedback.
okay. Tell us about the feedback. We want to know.
The feedback, the feedback has been awesome. And the funders absolutely love my program. As we said, it's not a lot in this area that are doing what I'm doing. Um, they have now we haven't gotten the grant, but it wasn't because they didn't like the idea. It was more so because of the funding that they may have been giving was for youth at a particular age, like five. The last one was from like 5 to 8 or 5 to 10. These youth are from between 18 and 22. So that was one of the reasons we didn't get that funding. But areas like that, and another one was for more so youth who are maybe autistic and things like that. But nonetheless, the fact that I'm in the room, and discussing this is I'm a million miles away from where I was. So I can feel
Right,
it.
right. I mean, you're talking to the funders, you have your 501c3, you're learning. And I would say that's the most important part, talking to the funders and seeing what they need. Because if you didn't have a proposal, would you
Hmm.
be able to be in the room if you didn't have your 501c3?
There
Did
you
would
go.
you be able to be in a room if you didn't do any grant research? Would you be able to
Right.
know who to talk to? And I think that's one of our strengths here at QT Business Solutions. We're able to help you and make it easy for you to get in the room. That's
Exactly.
for me,
Exactly.
that's what I enjoy, because now it's inevitable at that point. You see what I'm saying? Like, getting to the room is the
Mm.
first step, but once you're
Right.
in the room, you're in the room.
You're in the room now. You're in the room now. It's
Yeah.
like a job interview. I got you there, but you got to you got to present yourself so you get the job.
Yes, yes. So what are some of the things, the major things that you learned from the outside, if you were talking to the perfect grant maker from talking to those other grant makers?
um, what are some of the things that I've learned from discussing or talking with the funders?
Or your program. So let's say you're looking for the perfect funder. Now what's happening is they're saying they like you, but you're not fitting into their specific target.
Exactly.
What does your perfect funder look like, or what are they looking at from you? What are they looking for from you, from talking? You learned some things from talking to those other grant makers. So give me that.
Um, what they're looking at, what they see out of me is a particular organization, nonprofit organization that's centered around a particular age group,
Mm.
and that is what kind of restricts me from certain areas. But nonetheless, the funder that will come along, which we're working with right now, and we just met the deadline on that one. This one deals specifically with this age group, and not only that, with career path coaching and
Mm.
training
Mm.
for you between the ages of 18 and 22. These are the ones that we are centered around right here.
Mm.
So because it has that small gap, 18 to 22, it kind of restricts me a little bit.
Yeah.
There's many funders out there that are helping youth, and I commend them all. But because of that, that's one of the things that puts me in this gap. But I'm going to stick with it. I believe it's gonna go through
Hmm.
because we would love to help youth younger than that. We would love to help them 12, but we have to start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere. All right. Now tell me, you mentioned you just met the deadline. Was that with one of our writers, or were you submitting your grant proposal on your own?
One of the writers, she submitted a grant proposal to one just recently. Actually, this particular, what's so amazing is this particular funder was given to me by the Kellogg Foundation
Ah.
because they were like, oh my God, I love this idea, but you're restricted. Again, I'm restricted between that age gap.
Mm.
But he was like, check this one out though.
Wow.
So when I spoke to the writer at QT, she was like, "I'm on it. I'm on it already." You know.
That's amazing.
So we met the
Oh,
deadline.
that's amazing. And you know what? That's another benefit of talking to the funders, because they know other
Right.
funders. They know other
Exactly.
funders.
Right.
Wow.
I was like, she loved the idea so much. She was like, "Check this one out." And our writer here at QT, or the writer here at QT, she was like, "I'm on it already." She's like, "I'm aware of them. I know it, and I'm buying." She put it in, and she emailed me and said, "We met the deadline, so we good. We're just waiting on them." You know.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about right there. All
And I
right.
gotta
So,
think about to thank you. I really do gotta thank you guys because, like I said, this was an idea a year ago, and I took the first step forward and said, "I'm gonna go through it." And you guys got me there. You
wow.
guys got me there. I didn't see this happening. You
Wow.
know.
Wow. Oh, I love hearing this. I love hearing this. Goodness. Because that actually, this is the reason I got into business. What you're saying right now. I
Really.
if I could do my services for free, I would do my services for free. You
Mhm.
know, I can't. So, people have to pay us. And yeah, sometimes people have cold feet. And it's like,
Mhm.
man, other people out there, don't do as much as we do. And I think people just don't know as much as we do. They don't know all the stuff that we do. So our price might, sound big, but I don't think it's big though. I think it's like cheap.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth it. And that's what not only scares people from reaching their goals. It's not just with something like this. It's with maybe purchasing a home
Hmm.
when they do the down payment. It's with getting married, how much the wedding may cost. They cold feet is a person's greatest enemy to a certain degree. It will stop you from reaching your goal.
Mm, mm, mm.
When I warm my put one in front of the other, I said, "We're about to warm it up. We're about to warm this feet up and get
And we
going."
we did we didn't put it on the pan and like made some patties and we serving hamburgers at this point. Okay,
Right, right.
all right. So tell me, why would you recommend QT Business Solutions to other nonprofit founders and why?
I'm telling you, man, QT, like I said, they took my idea, which even at that time, the idea was like just an idea. It wasn't like I was really putting forth the due diligence that they had. I was like, such as, let me go and see how this will work. I contacted QT and said, I have this idea. And they took the idea and turned the idea into where we are now. So can
Wow.
you see how amazed I am? Because had I not contacted you guys, the idea, there's a book out there, I think it's called The 5 Second Rule. If you don't act on it, the idea will go away.
Mm,
The idea probably would have went away
mm.
had I not contacted QT Business Solutions. I would not be here. It would have went away. It would have been an idea like, I always thought about doing this, but it would have went away because there's so much to it that QT handled that I had no knowledge on handling. They handled it for me.
Oh my
So can
gosh.
you see how amazed I am? Because like I said, I know myself. If they would have said, okay, you got to do this, do this, do this, do this, I probably would have said, you know what, let me try something else. Maybe I'll go back to college.
Yeah.
But they
Wow.
took it and turned it into a reality. So now I'm here like, whoa, we're actually talking to the funders. This is about to become a reality. And all I had to do was say, you know what? I'm not letting nothing stop me. If it costs this much, this is what I got to do. If I have to make this call, that's what I got to do. And it happened, you know.
Woo! You just gave me some chills because you said right. If you don't act on your ideas, it'll just be an idea. And,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just need somebody to help you structure it.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
somebody that knows how to do it, not just somebody else with an idea. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that knows how to get you from A through Z. We know how to get you through H through Z. You had the idea, but we know how to get the idea to actually, talking to funders and getting some money. That's what we talking about.
Exactly. They brought it to fruition for me.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you a fun fact. What's
Uh,
one fun or unexpected fact about you or your nonprofit that people might want to know?
what's one fun fact is that we will be doing a lot of um, father, son, mother, daughter picnics and basketball. We're going to
Oh.
be doing a lot of that. We're going to have the youth involved with a lot of that, the teenagers. This will be fun for them. This will be fun for the community.
Mm,
Because we're going to be having some, like, they used to have these 3-on-3 basketball tournaments in the cities, urban areas. We're going to have, but it'll be fathers versus sons.
I love it. I love
Fathers versus sons. Yeah, and mothers and daughters picnics and activities. So this I'm looking forward to. I'm looking because this is where the community gets involved.
it.
But the youth will be, and another fun fact is it won't just be the youth in this home. The youth in the home will be the ones who are residing here. We
Mm,
will also be going out to other homes. They may not be residing in the home, but they'll be a part of the program. You get what I'm saying?
oh,
They'll be a
yes.
part of the all of the activities, and we'll be go picking them up, getting them, you know,
The career planning, the
socialized.
path, all that.
Yes, yes, it won't just be the ones in this home. So, and getting involved with the community activities and things like the charity organizations, the food pantries, dealing with helping the homeless. We what we really want is to get these, and this is a fact. We want these children to give back because this is what we're trying to touch here.
Mm,
This is what we're trying to. We want them to get involved with helping, so that they say, "Hey, somebody help me, so let me give it back." That's
ama-
the fun. You know what I mean?
amazing.
Right. Right. We don't want these kids and getting in trouble and going to prison. We don't want that.
No.
Yeah.
And your organizations like yours are going to change the world. You change the world one person, one kid at a time. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't believe that happens, but look at that's another reason I got into QT. I want to
Hmm.
change the world one person at a time. If we able to change you, now look at
Hmm.
all those babies you about to help and change.
Exactly.
That's a
Exactly.
that's a ripple. That's like an ocean. That's like a tidal wave. Like the tsunami of help. Okay, let
Right.
me
Right.
sorry.
Right. And then
So,
coming back, seeing one of these youth, 10, 15 years from now, you see him, he's got his wife, he's got his
mhm,
children. He introduce me to his family and say, this is the person that changed my life.
that
That
see
that no money can compensate for that, you know.
nothing, nothing.
Yeah.
So tell me this: if you could have dinner with any philanthropist or nonprofit leader, past or present, who would it be and why?
Any philanthropist, any nonprofit leader, I would say it would be um the founder of Kellogg. And the reason why is because I've been reading a lot of his books for a long time. I can't remember his first name, but he's been active in so many different things. I know he's not alive now, but um he's been active in a lot of health and wellness programs. Um and not only that, he's here in Michigan, or his company was based here in Michigan. But because he took Kellogg outside of just cereal or brands, and he got involved with something dealing with the health of um, people and the things that we were eating and things like that. So much the way he changed his brand and cereal, how he was making it. You know
Mm,
what I mean? So I would love to sit with him and discuss some things. He has a lot of books out there.
wow.
You know? Yeah, definitely, definitely him.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking your time and sit here and tell us about your nonprofit. Can you tell us your nonprofit name again? And then, tell us when, once you have this alive, what would you want as far as, you want to make your donation pitch. So, tell us a little bit more about your, like closing out and then a donation pitch.
Okay. My nonprofit organization is called Pathway to Progression. Um, our aim is to help youth, as we stated, who have aged out of foster care, coaching them in the career paths that they are seeking, helping them and guiding them along that journey, exposing them to areas outside of their local area so they don't think that they're confined to this local area. Also providing housing, food, and transportation assistance. At this moment, what we need is to get pretty much the repairs done to the home so that they can live comfortably in the home. And at this moment, after all of the calculations, I think where we were just over 400,000. I think that's what, and that right there will pretty much suffice everything that they need because they'll have in-house cleaning, they'll have in-house residents who will reside here to make sure that they're, monitors, making sure that everything's done in accordance. They're not, doing anything they shouldn't be doing, things like that, security and all of that. So that amount pretty much is where we're at. I think we'll really, really get the ball rolling and hopefully open up a door to, after the success of it, to another operation, to another nonprofit organization doing the same thing.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Eric, for coming on out, and thank you again for choosing QT Business Solutions. I know,
Thank
it's
you.
we out here, and it's sometimes it's hard to do business with other people. Sometimes we've had black owned businesses, had some, like, in the community, we've had some issues with people saying, well, you want to do back I want to do business with black owned businesses, but
Right.
hey, we've had some issues with that in the past. And
Right.
I just wanted to just let everybody know that we're here to help. We're here to do quality work. We might not be the cheapest in the box, but we gonna get it done.
I would recommend QT. I have recommended, and I am recommending QT to people. If money is your deterrent, you'll never be successful.
Mm,
You know, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, whether it's purchasing a home or whether it's purchasing a car or whatever, or a business operation, money should never be the deterrent. Well, unfortunately, it is for a lot of people, but it's what stands in the way between you and your idea becoming a reality a lot of times. But not for me, though.
we got you. We got you together. All right.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank